Maureen O'Sullivan, Thomas Pringle. Yeah.
There are parts of Dublin Central which have higher numbers of lone parents than anywhere else in the country. I know many of them, and these are real people with real stories, and they have very real fears about what is being proposed here now for them and for their children. The majority, we know, are female, but there is a significant growing number of families, one-parent families, where it's the male we're talking about. And what they have seen since 2008 has been reduction after reduction from years, with the result that low-income households continue to suffer disproportionately. Some of us have called repeatedly for equality proofing of budgets, and last November my own private members Move Business here with the technical group was about that we should have a human rights approach to budgeting, and there was general agreement around the principle of what was being proposed, the need for adequate assessments of the impact of budgetary decisions on the most vulnerable. Of course it was different when it came to the vote, but the government amendment at that time said, and I quote, "A social impact assessment of the main taxation and welfare measures will be carried out by a cross-department body led by finance, social protection, public expenditure and reform." Now, if that was happening, I don't think that what is being proposed here now, whether you call it a restructuring, it's really a cut, would be proposed. There have been many calls for this to be suspended so that the department could undertake a full review of planned changes, including that impact assessment. I would hope that when we do see the impact of this, and that there are dire consequences, that it will be reviewed. I've seen figures of €108 up to €140 that some families will lose per week. And how can families on very low income, how can they sustain that? Now, we're all for enabling low parents to move from social welfare into education and employment, but I don't see what's being proposed as facilitating that. The hardest hit will be those in part-time employment who may have to give up the work, and that's going to increase the number of one-parent families in poverty, and they will continue at the lower level in employment and in education. There's very real fears, which I've said at leaders' questions here, on the part of housing and homeless organisations, that what's being proposed is going to push more people into homelessness, and my biggest concern is the effect on children. We know there's an increase in the number of children living in consistent poverty, and there is a very real fear, as I expressed the last time, of more children joining the numbers of rough sleepers. Housing First project leader this week saw that happening. He saw families with children presenting who would be becoming a part of the numbers of rough sleepers, and there's also the fear that those kind of families might not present. They would prefer to hide under the radar if for fear that their children will be taken from them. The reality is that what's being proposed here is going to exacerbate a really bad situation.